The story opens with Ken, an unemployed man who spends his time glued to video games. One morning, his wife Emmy interrupts him, pointing out a strange robot wandering in their garden. When she asks what they should do about it, Ken, annoyed, dismisses her concern and continues playing. Frustrated, Emmy tries to discuss his recent job interview, but Ken avoids the subject and heads outside. In the garden, under a tree, Ken notices the peculiar robot Emmy mentioned. Intrigued, he questions it, but the robot merely mimics his words. When he asks its name, it replies, Tang. Unsure what to do with Tang, Ken takes the robot to a local electronics shop. The owner inspects Tang and explains that without a serial number, it can't be recycled. However, they offer to dismantle and dispose of it piece by piece. Tempted by the easy solution, Ken agrees and prepares to leave Tang behind. As Ken turns to go, Tang unexpectedly calls out his name. Startled, Ken glances back to see the robot gazing at him with a sorrowful look. In that fleeting moment, an unspoken connection forms between them. Despite the tug at his heart, Ken says goodbye to Tang and walks away, leaving the little robot behind. As Ken heads home, unaware of Tang quietly following him, he bumps into his sister. She asks about the job interview, but Ken avoids the question and walks away. At home, Emmy gets a call from the medical center, learning Ken never attended the interview. Frustrated, she hangs up just as Ken arrives, leaving the gate open. Tang slips inside unnoticed and scans the family photos, storing them as in its memory. In the storage room, Ken shows Emmy a tool he found, claiming it might be useful. Emmy, annoyed, confronts him. I got a call from the place your sister mentioned. They said you never showed up for the interview. Ken dismissively says, I forgot to go, and tries to walk away. But Emmy stops him. Tired of his excuses, she demands, why didn't you go to the interview? As their argument heats up, Emmy notices Tang quietly standing behind Ken. Shocked, Ken stares at the robot, unable to understand how it followed him home. Trying to avoid the topic, he picks up a broken clock and says, Look, you're running late. Emmy, frustrated, begins fixing the clock and snaps, I have to do everything. Work, chores, errands. What kind of life is this? In her frustration, Emmy tosses the broken clock aside and throws Ken out of the house. Dejected, Ken ends up at a bus stop with Tang, waiting for a ride. While sitting there, Ken notices a leak coming from Tang. Using his socks, he cleans the mess and spots a company logo inside the robot. Curious, Ken looks up the logo and finds a website offering to exchange old robots for new ones. Seeing an opportunity, he decides to trade Tang in. Ken takes the robot to the airport, but Tang's antics on the plane cause chaos, leaving Ken even more irritated. To distract himself, Ken turns on the in-flight TV and watches cartoons. A line in the show, "Friendship is greater than treasure," lingers in his mind as the scene shifts. Ken and Tang arrive at the company, intending to exchange Tang for his new robot, but discover it's closed for the day. They check into a nearby hotel for the night. That night, Ken has a haunting dream. He sees his father in surgery, with doctors looking to him for guidance. Overwhelmed and powerless, he panics. Suddenly, Tang accidentally knocks over a cup of coffee, jolting Ken awake. The next day, Ken returns to the company, hoping to exchange Tang, but is told Tang isn't one of their models and can't be exchanged. Feeling stuck, Ken watches as Tang wanders off to explore. While roaming, Tang notices other robots eyeing him, triggering a memory of an incident where robots harmed humans. Meanwhile, Shinji, a guide, leads a group of school children on a tour. The children spot Tang and excitedly surround him, snapping photos from all angles. Shinji approaches Ken and expresses interest in Tang, saying he'd like to inspect the robot. A robot designer who occasionally guides tours, Shinji takes them to his office and discovers a cracked glass container inside Tang, leaking yellow fluid. He temporarily fixes it, warning Ken that without proper repair, Tang could stop working. While working, Shinji is surprised to see Tang playing with a butterfly, unusual for a robot. He tells Ken that Tang's creator likely had limited resources and planned to upgrade the robot later, though they don't know who made Tang. Shinji contacts his friend Otsuki, a robot repair specialist, who agrees to fix Tang. Ken takes Tang to Otsuki's city, but during their journey, two people ask Shinji for their location, hinting that someone is looking for them. Upon arriving, Ken and Tang witness a breathtaking fireworks display. While Ken enjoys the show, Tang, reminded of a troubling memory where robots harm people, becomes scared and hides behind Ken. Ken assumes Tang is just playing, unaware of the robot's fear. The full story behind Tang's memories remains unclear, but it will unfold later. The two men chasing Ken and Tang arrive in the city. The next day, Ken takes Tang to Otsuki, who warmly hugs the little robot. While talking, Tang follows a mall robot car, unknowingly walking into a trap. The men capture Tang and lock him in shade, with one calling, "We've caught Tang." Ken and Otsuki realize Tang is missing and search for him. Otsuki spots the car and throws her GPS tracking ID card into it, allowing them to track Tang's location. Meanwhile, Emmy reflects on her promotion and first meeting with Ken, then calls him. In the middle of rescuing Tang, Ken receives a call from Emmy. She tells him, "I'm not staying with you anymore. I want a divorce." Ken hesitates but eventually agrees, feeling the weight of her words. Ken and Otsuki arrive at the location where Tang is held. As they sneak inside, they spot the two men who captured Tang and find him locked in a key. Acting quickly, Ken and Otsuki free Tang and escape with him. Just as they're about to leave, Dr. Kato arrives, revealing himself as the mastermind behind the kidnapping. Kato recognizes Tang as a creation of Dr. Bobby and tries to take him. Ken insults Tang, calling him useless, which enrages the robot, causing him to release a burst of heat. Amid the chaos, Ken shoots one man, and Otsuki knocks out the others. They escape with Tang, but Ken soon realizes Tang is overheating. When he opens the robot, he discovers the yellow liquid is almost gone. Ken receives a call from Dr. Baba, who thanks him for taking care of Tang, revealing that Tang's real name is James. Baba urges Ken to bring James so he can fix him. On their way, Ken opens up to Tang about his past, explaining how his father died in the hospital because Ken couldn't make the right decision about the treatment, which still haunts him. At Dr. Baba's lab, Baba replaces the cracked glass containing Tang's vital fluid, restoring him. But when Ken prepares to leave, Tang clings to his legs, begging him to stay. Ken reluctantly hands Tang to Baba and walks away, deeply saddened. Inside, Tang is terrified as Baba installs his chip to restore his memories, which reveal that Tang had witnessed robots attacking humans, making him fear the chip would turn him into a danger. Later, Ken meets Dr. Kato, who apologizes and explains his connection to Dr. Baba. Kato reveals that Baba and he had worked on a secret military project to create advanced AI robots. During a test, James, Tang showed fear and tried to protect humans by attacking other robots, leading to chaos. Baba removed James's chip and destroyed the evidence in a fire. Ken rushes to Dr. Baba's lab, realizing Tang's fear of the chip. Inside, Tang tries to escape Baba's grip. A fight ensues, and Baba nearly kills Ken with a robotic hand. Tang intervenes, kicking Baba down, and Ken knocks him out. However, a cupboard falls on Tang, deactivating him. Ken struggles to revive Tang and calls Kato, who explains the wires inside Tang need to be reconnected. Ken, recalling his helplessness with his father's illness, gathers courage and reconnects the wires, praying he did it right. Tang powers back on, but with no memories, introducing himself as James. Slowly, he recalls their journey and remembers his name as Tang. As police arrive to arrest Baba, Ken and Tang head home, where Emmy is packing. Seeing Ken and Tang, Emmy realizes Ken has changed. Ken tells her, "I need you. I can't live without you." Tang, curious, asks, "Emmy has two hearts. How is that possible?" Emmy smiles and reveals, "I'm pregnant." Ken, overwhelmed with joy, cries happy tears. Emmy, once unsure, now feels confident Ken will be a loving father. They embrace and Tang dances around, celebrating. The movie ends with Ken, Emmy, and Tang looking forward to a new beginning. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie. And remember, your feedback and inspiration are what drive us to create new videos. Stay curious, stay inspired. See you in the next one.